Namaste. We're still here. Think about the places that you think you've been since the last time we were here, and then you get an idea of how hard it is to really be here for any length of time. Constantly distracted, constantly lost in our thoughts, our imaginations, lost in dreamland. So that's why we add a practice to our lives. When we add a practice, we have something to come home to. We have something that's actually even pulling us out of our stuff, out of our dreams, into the present moment. So, let's listen chant. Pranavam Bhavanukuma Kalabana Pavaka Gyanagan Jasu Hridayagha Vasiram Sarachabadha Atulitam Baladham Himshala Badeham Dhanujavan Krishna Jnani Nama Graganyam Sakala Guna Nidhanam Vanaranam Madhisham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatam Namam Varshpadi Kritavarisham Mashiki Kritarakshasam Ramayana Mahamalaratnam Ande Nilatmajam Anjananandaram Viram Janaki Shokanashanam Kapishamakshahantar Ande Lanka Bhayankaram Langasindho Salilam Salilam Yashokavahi Janakatma Jaya Adayatana Dadahalanka Namamitam Pranjali Ranjaneyam Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Vardishtam Vatatmadam Vanarutamukham Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadye Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadye Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadye Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadye Anjaneya Matipatalanana Kanchana Drikamaniya Vigraham Parijata Taramula Vasanam Bhavayami Pavamana Nandanam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtana Tatra Tatra Kritamastakhanjali Vashpavare Paripurna Lochana Ramartinamat Rakshasantakam Bola Bajranga Bale Hanuman Ki Jai. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai 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 Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. 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 Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, Jai Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Jai Sitaram. 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 Sitaram, yes, Sitaram, Sitaram, yes, Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 yes, Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 yes, Sitaram. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Ram Ram Sita Ram 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 Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram 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 Sita Ram. Ram Ram Sita Ram 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 Sita Ram Sita Ram Sita Ram Ram Sita Ram. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ram Ram Sita Ram 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 Sita Ram Ram Sita Ram 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 Sita Ram Ram Ram. Ram Ram Sita Ram 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 Sita Ram Ram Sita Ram 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 Sita Ram. Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sitaram, Ram Ram, Sitaram, Taram, Sitaram, Ram Ram, Sitaram. Ram Ram, Sitaram, Ram Ram, Sitaram, 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 Ram Ram, Sitaram. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hari Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ram Ram Sitaram, Ram Ram Sitaram, Taram Sitaram, Ram Ram Sitaram, Ram Ram. Ram Ram Sitaram, Ram Ram Sitaram, Taram Sitaram, Ram Ram Sitaram. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ram Ram Sitaram, Ram Ram Sitaram, Taram Sitaram, Ram Ram Sitaram. Ram Ram Sitaram, Ram Ram Sitaram, Taram Sitaram, Ram Ram Sitaram. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. For people like us, it's so hard to leave the world of thoughts and emotions behind. It's so hard to let go of that stuff that we've been so immersed in our whole lives. The stuff that we believe is real, stuff that we believe, the stories we tell ourselves that we believe about ourselves, all the judgments and valuations and all the limitations we put on ourselves, all because of our thoughts and emotions and our identification with them and the glue that holds us to those thoughts and feelings. We have to recognize that it's probably something we're going to be dealing with our whole lives. Even if we do practice every day, or at least regularly for our whole lives, we're always going to be dealing with that, the issues that our basic beliefs are rooted in what is not real. What comes and goes, feelings, thoughts, emotions, and the body comes and goes. But that doesn't mean we have to be victimized by those things so intensely and so deeply. There are tools, there are antidotes, there are things we can do that over time will liberate us from the prison of our own stuff. We've been brainwashed by this world. We were born into a world where everybody sees things a certain way. Everybody we knew. And there was nothing to tell us that this is not the way to go, that this is not what's going to make us happy. So we just keep, day after day, living in dreamland, going from one reaction to another, totally asleep. It ain't easy to wake up. We forgot to set the alarm clock. But if we're doing these practices at all, then that alarm clock has gone off. But we haven't quite got out of bed yet. We're still really tired, or maybe we put it on snooze for 100,000 times. Little by little, we start waking up. And then we see things a little differently. Maharaji used to say that through the repetition of these names, everything is accomplished. I don't think that is at all ambiguous. Everything is accomplished. Whatever you need to accomplish in every direction, in every field, in every part of your life, you will accomplish through the repetition of the name, including becoming liberated and freed and open-hearted and rooted in reality. So through the repetition of these names, everything is accomplished. That's what he said. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One time in, I think it was 1971, or maybe, yeah, probably, not sure. We're in the temple with Maharaji in Vrindavan. And one of the devotees hanging out with us had a friend who was one of the gurus in ISKCON, the Hare Krishna movement. And they had just come to Vrindavan for the first time, and they were being introduced to Vrindavan and Krishna's place, not birthplace. And so this guy invited them to come sing in Maharaji's temple, to come to Kirtan. So, we used to sing to Maharaji, but we would just stand there and go, Shri Ram Jai Jai, very simple, very boring, but very simple. Very loving, but, So here comes these guys. They all come, like 20 of them. And they got drums and clangers and bangers and cymbals and everything. And they're singing and dancing. And it was, Maharaji loved it. It was so great. But I was standing right next to him. At one point, he looked over me and said, like he was telling me a big secret. He said, Hare Krishna, Maha Mantra. And it was just fantastic. So then finally they left. And he reached into his dhoti, the cloth that he wore around his waist, and he pulled out a 50 rupee note. And he gave it to me and he said, here, go buy a drum. And that moment is why we're here now. Why I'm doing this now with you today. 50 years later, or whatever. That's the moment that solidified me as somebody who does chanting, who chants. And I went and bought the drum, and I wouldn't play it. And I brought it back to Maharaji, and he was the first one to play the drum. He went, ha, and then he gave it back to me, So I never really learned to play very well, but I could keep a beat. And we used to sing, and that was it, And then little by little, the kirtan got juicier and juicier, and yeah, I just kept singing. And that was how it all started. At least that's the way it looks. Okay, let's take some questions. I gotta see if I have the list here. I do. Oh, Jesus, there's so many, so many announcements. Okay, this Saturday, September 12th at 9 a.m. in the morning. Can you believe I'm getting up? I'm actually not starting until around 10:30. I'm going to sing a little while where the Hindutva honors the 9/11 heroes. There's an Indian association of Indian people who want to honor the 9/11 heroes. And there's some other people talking and stuff, and they asked me to sing, so I'll sing for a little while at 10:30 a.m. this Saturday. And then on Friday the 17th to the 19th, the next weekend, is the Shift Music Festival, fundraising to support planting 1 million trees. Nina's also going to be singing. That same weekend, there's another program called Integrated Awakening, Living in the Non-Dual Understanding, or in my case, the non-dual misunderstanding, but whatever. And I'll be singing for 2 short programs over the weekend. I'm not sure exactly when. Saturday the 25th is the next group chai and chat. Oh my God, and then next Wednesday, the 29th, the new course starts. 4-part series, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, A Path with Heart course. How did we get that name? That's Joseph's book. Anyway, and that's on the Embodied Philosophy website. Then September 30th to October 3rd, Devoted to Wisdom with Katie and Bob Thurman up at Menla. We're actually doing it in person, but there's many protective things in place, so everybody hopefully will stay safe. It's a small group, and the in-person group is full right now. There's a wait list, but you can do it virtually with us also at home. I would do it virtually if I could, but I have to go. All this information is on krishnadas.com/support. Somebody asked, why are Hindu gods gods, but not just humans? They look like humans. Well, first of all, who drew the pictures of them? Humans. What can humans draw? Humans. Humans can only draw what they've seen. Other humans, animals, bugs, insects, sky, the stars. They can't draw what they can't see and haven't seen. And so the pictures we see of the so-called gods are just a projection of human minds. That's not what they look like. How could it be what they look like? They might have some, because they've been described, I guess, in some of the scriptures, they may be sharing some qualities of that drawing, but believe me, if they're not physical beings, so it's a whole other ballgame. So, and yeah, so there you go. That's my ideas about that. Did I ever make an album called Silence? There's an album by that title on the streaming platforms that this person really enjoys, but I can't tell if it's your album or someone else using the name Krishna Das. Well, it isn't mine, so it's someone else. And he may also be a Krishna Das by someone must have given him that name. It's the Italian Krishna Das. There's actually a Krishna Das in Italy who is more of a classical Indian musician. I think he plays sitar. And apparently he's very good, but he's not me. So that's much I can tell you. What does Sitaram mean in English? Well, as you know, I'm not a big one for trying to define these names. For instance, your name is Tatiana. What does that mean? It means you. All those things about you. You, your sense of yourself. That's you, Tatiana. Sita is Sita. Ram is Ram. That's who they are. That's the names of who they are. If we want to start talking about who are these great beings and what are their qualities, well, that's a rather big discussion. But suffice it to say that Sita Ram and Ram Sita and Sita Ram together are names of the real names of love, the names of the real love that lives within us as our own true nature. We're not on that level, and we're not aware of that level. And when we hear those names, very much in the way we see pictures, drawings of the so-called gods. I say so-called because we don't even know what that means when we say a god. I think of them as older beings, greater beings, beings who have real, true realization, who have been around much longer and have achieved these very high states. Some of them are avatars and incarnations of the very great beings that support, create, and preserve this universe. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, the incarnations of Vishnu who preserves the universe through love. Krishna, Rama, and the 10 avatars. So, because Ram, Sita, Krishna, Radha, all these beings, because they are rooted in a deeper consciousness or a higher consciousness than we have, by repeating their names, we invoke that presence, we invoke that place within us that is deeper than our thoughts, deeper than our emotions, deeper than our physicality. And it moves us more deeply into ourself, into our true self. So that's, for me, that's the real meaning of these names, is that they are real love, and the same love that lives within us. So by invoking that presence, it helps us pull us out of our thoughts and uncover what's really within us. But if you want to see more about that, you can Google it, read the different, read the Mahabharata, read the Ramayana, read Srimad Bhagavatam, read the Puranas, all these Indian scriptures that describe and tell about all the deities, all the gods. Maharaji said, according to this person, which is a quote, I guess, attachment is the strongest block to realization. What does that mean? What kind of attachments is he talking about? And then she asked, do I have any attachments? How could you ask that question? Hey, I'm nothing but attachments. So anyway, what did Maharaji mean by attachments? Well, it's a good question. Let's just say you're in a relationship with somebody. And if you're very attached to that person, it means that you feel you can't live without that person. You feel that you need that person in order to be happy. The same way somebody might feel they need a lot of money to be happy. Or somebody might feel they need to be stronger and more virile, or somebody might want more hair or less hair or bigger muscles in order to be happy and attract love to them. This is all attachment because it's outside you. In reality, those things are not going to make you happy. They're going to give you some pleasure, for sure. And you could say they're going to give you a little happiness, but you know, it's not pure, unalloyed happiness. It's mixed with a lot of stuff. So the neediness, the dependent on other things outside of us, that is called attachment. And most people are completely immersed in this world, which is called the flow of attachment. Samsara is the word they use, the cycle of attachment. One attachment replacing the next, one after the other, one after the other. And we're also very attached to our ideas about who we are. And the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves, we're identified with them, we're attached to those things. I remember once in India, this couple was fighting, having problems, and one of the couple came to Dada Mukherjee, one of Maharaji's great devotees, and they were telling him all their woes. And he said to me later, he said to me, Dada, I can't live without her. And Dada looked at me and he said, can you imagine that? In his world, it was only Maharaji. He was married, his family was there, but he was only dependent on Maharaji in a way. When I said, Maharaji, I want to marry you, he said, okay, but all you'll get is love. You won't get what you really want, which is, at that time was to get laid. He said, oh, you get love if you married me, and he laughed. And then I said to him, how can I stop this? I feel so bad. I have so much, I'm never going to get through this. He said, attachment, this is all attachment. All those kind of thoughts about yourself all day long. We think about ourselves all day long. All day long, we're thinking about ourselves. We're immersed in locating ourselves in space and bouncing off of the people around us and thinking about the future and running away from the past or bouncing off the past. This is all attachment. No attachment, Maharaji said, no samsara, no world. No outside world, no external world, no separate world, more meaning set world where I'm me and you're you, and those are two different universes. The external world disappears and the whole universe opens up. So anything that keeps us from that real love, from that wide-heartedness that ultimately includes all beings, anything that keeps us spinning in pain, spinning in suffering, needy, hungry, is attachment. Anything we think we need that we can't live without is attachment. It's a big subject. Because you can't just say, I'm not going to be attached. That don't work. Because you're still attached to you, who you think you are, and from that, all the other attachments come. They didn't go anywhere. You just are posing in another position. So getting free of attachment and finding your true nature is a very big job, very big thing. But you can't just push things away. There's another word for attachment or detachment. There's another word for detachment in Hindi, in Sanskrit, and the word is vairagya. And this word has much more of a sense of the natural falling away of fascination with stuff. And it falls away as we become more deeply embedded in our own hearts. More deeply we sit in our true nature. Our fascination with the outside world and our dependence on it and our fantasies about it, they get less and less. And through the repetition of the name, like Maharaji said, everything is accomplished. So you don't need to tack those things directly. You don't have to think about all the things you're attached to. You just do your practice. And little by little, the attachment to those things falls away. You don't even notice it, really. You only notice that you're more at ease. Because it's the evaluator, the judger in us, that part of us that's going, yeah, what's going on now? How am I now? How am I now? I'm not happy. Okay, now I'm a little happy. Now I'm not happy. That part of us, the volume starts to go down. And when we're not in it, we're not in it. Practice is the most important thing. It's good to have a little bit of understanding of the direction we're going, but more than that's not really required. Do your practice, treat yourself and other people the way you would like to be treated. And that's the deal. No more is required at that point. Maharaji said, love everyone, serve everyone, remember God. Remember God is the practice of, for instance, of japa, the repetition of the names, or kirtan, singing the names, serving others, and not judging others, loving others. That's what we need to do. I don't have a book of the names and chants, but I have the CDs of the names and chants. Many people mention different problems they're having, difficulties in their life. And all I can tell you is that whenever I'm up against the wall and I need something to change, something's got to change, something's got to give. I'm at a place where I can't take anymore, where something's really, I do Hanuman Chalisa. I pray to Hanumanji and I do Hanuman Chalisa. So for those of you who are asking me about prayers and what to do and those things, get a picture of Hanuman and a picture of Maharaji, put some fruit, offer some fruit, and sit down and sing Hanuman Chalisa. And if you really want things to change, sing it or read it or say it, repeat it 108 times. In India, there's this special puja that if you ask for something that you really want, I mean, you could ask for a new refrigerator, I suppose, if that's what you want, but the idea is to ask for something that's really big. And then you do this puja, you sing the Hanuman Chalisa or say it. You don't have to sing it doesn't have to take 20 hours, but you can read it, you can speak it, you can chant it without music, you can chant it with music 108 times. And your prayers will be answered in the best possible way they can be. It may not happen the way you want it, and it may not happen when you want it, but if you ask Hanumanji to do that, it's my belief that you will get his attention. You will get the attention of the universe, and you will create, with your sincere longing, a situation, a change to the situation. So, but you have to do it. It's a lot. It's a big practice. But you can drink coffee, chai, whatever you want. You can get up and walk around. When I was facing a very difficult situation in my life, a life-threatening situation, Siddhima told me to do 108 chalisas for 11 straight days. And the situation totally dissolved, disappeared. 108 chalisas, that's asking a lot. That's a lot. I don't think there's enough coffee in the universe to keep me up for 11 straight days. Or give me the energy to do that now. But in those days, I had that energy and I did it for 11 straight days, and my life changed. That's my experience. You have to find your experience, but that's what I can offer you now. Hey, KD, after years of practice, do you still experience life's lows? How is your reactivity to it? Still got stuff that grabs you? You bet your life. Of course I do. You know, and it's only the chanting and practice that saves me again and again and again and brings me home again and again and again. It's like you're going down a river and you're right by the rapids. You're just about to go over the waterfall into destruction, and I get pulled back up to the source of the river, and then I'm going down again, and then I get pulled back again and again. The flow of life continues. Our karmas keep coming to fruition. Who knows how long that will go on? It's our job to plant new karmas, to do practice, to open our hearts, to help ourselves and help others the best we can, and plant those kind of seeds. So we're all in the same boat. Is there any number of repetitions that you do while chanting? No, I don't count. I just sing as long as I feel like it, and then I stop or do something else. What do I think about the Bible? What Maharaji said about it? You know, he didn't say much about the Bible, but he did say a lot about Jesus, about Christ. He loved Christ. He said Christ and Hanuman and Krishna are the same. He told us we should meditate like Christ. And when we asked, how did Christ meditate? He said, he lost himself in love. He lost himself in love. That's how he meditated. Then he said, no one understands. He never died. He never died. He lost himself in love. Now, that's not the Jesus I heard about growing up, for sure. But to me, that sounds like the real thing. That sounds like what it was really about. Not all the divisiveness and the wars and the hatred and the mind screwing and all the stuff that goes on in organized religion in general, not just Christianity, all of the religions. They're all selling something. And they all want you to join this and hate that one, most of them. That's why, I have no use for that stuff. Is there a conflict between Buddhist teachings and Maharaji's? Not at all. There's no conflict at all. None whatsoever. There's a difference in methodology, apparently. The Buddhist practice is very specific about how to do certain things and how to approach spiritual work and how to approach the spiritual path. Maharaji came from a different tradition, but the great saint and great yogi, the previous Karmapa, the 16th Karmapa, said that Maharaji was a bodhisattva, and that all the teachings of all the bodhisattvas are the same, even if they appear different. And if you don't know what a bodhisattva is, in Vajrayana Mahayana Buddhism, a bodhisattva is a Buddha in training, you could say. A very high advanced being who has been working on himself for millions of lifetimes and is a Buddha to be, has reached a state that is very close to Buddhahood in a way. And he said that Maharaji was not just a bodhisattva, but a mahasiddha. Vajrayana Buddhism comes from the mahasiddhas. Many of them were Indian. Most of them were Indian. Mahasiddhas mean great perfected ones. And they were of all different types, all different teachings, all different paths and different practices. And he said that Maharaji was also Mahasiddha. Who knows? We don't know. These words seem to mean a lot to us, but we don't really know what they mean. It's all about love, period. And Buddhist practice, Mahayana Vajrayana practice, is all about loving the whole world, serving and dedicating all your practice to relieving suffering for all beings. Not just yourself, but for all beings. And of course, that's what Maharaji was about. Love everyone, serve everyone. Very similar. Also very similar to Christ. Yeah, if you offer fruit during a puja or every day to the guru or the whatever, you offer the fruit, sure, and then you can eat it, or you can give it to somebody else to eat. First you offer it, and then you do your puja, and afterwards you can take it as prasad, sure. When you do 108 chalices, does it have to be in one day? Yes. It was 108 chalices per day for 11 straight days. That's what it was. However, when I first started it, I was still touring. So what I did was in the morning, I did a large part of it. In the afternoon, I did more. And at night, I did more. So I finished 108 in a day. So I suppose that's okay. I was told that was okay. Siddhima said that was okay, but it's not ideal. You should try to do them, in a row. You can get up and walk and do them too. You can walk, loosen yourself up, then you come back to your puja. But try to keep it going if you can. If you can't, do the best you can. That's all we can do. Best way to learn the Hanuman Chalisa is to do it. Read it, chant it, sing it. You don't have to memorize it. It's not a test. You're not going to be called before the board of Chalisas to recite it without looking. You learn it by doing it. It doesn't matter if you have it memorized. The most important thing when you do these practices is to really pay attention, is to try to really be there while you're doing these things. And sometimes you can read the Chalisa in Hindi and you see the translation right under it in English. So you can actually be saying it in Hindi and picking up the meaning from the English translation right under it. All that's okay. And is it okay to do it in English? Why not? Any way you do it that keeps you turned towards Hanuman Maharaji, that's good. But it wouldn't be, you try to do it with some feeling. You don't have to manufacture devotion and weep and cry and moan and throw yourself on the floor. But at the same time, you should recognize that you're doing this for a purpose. Maybe like one person here's child is very sick. And if you want to do the Chalisa for that, you have it in your mind. You want Maharaji to help you with that. So you stay with that, you try to feel connected to Hanuman, to Maharaji, while you're doing the practice. You try not to space out, but we all space out. We're all distracted. So you just do the best you can. But the effort is very important, and the motivation is very important. What's the difference? Where's the line between non-attachment and indifference? Non-attachment means love. Attachment means neediness, hunger, desire, using people, using things to try to get off. It has nothing to do with love. It has everything to do with manipulating other people, manipulating yourself, using other things, needing other things, thinking you do, all that stuff. Non-attachment means your heart is open as wide as the world for everyone and everything all the time. There's no closing down. That's a very advanced state. So understand this. Indifference is not detachment. Indifference is attachment. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about that shit. I got my own thing going. That's denial of how attached you really are to other things. There's fear there. There's anger there. There's worry. You don't want to be hurt. You don't want to be involved. You don't want to mess around with people. You want to be on your own. Even if you're on your own, your mind is going to be fucking you over all day long anyway. So that's bullshit. Indifference is completely different. When you're non-attached, the mind is calm, like an ocean, like a calm ocean. And everything is wide and free, open wide like the sky. It's a state of fullness, not emptiness. Not in the Buddhist sense. That's misunderstood too. But it's fullness, not no feeling at all. It's full of feeling, full of love and passion for love itself, not for stuff. How do we find compassion and love for those that challenge us the most and are the hardest to love? You know, there's a story about this really old Lama in Tibet who was going on a long pilgrimage and through the mountains, a really long, difficult pilgrimage, and he had to take an attendant with him. So he took this guy as his attendant, who was the most difficult person in the whole monastery. He was always somebody who created confusion. He was always critical and this and that, and causing all this. Everybody said, "Why did you take this guy? You're going to be with him day after day for months." And he said, "He teaches me patience." Are you ready for that? I'm not ready for that. But that's the deal. So you ask me, how do you find compassion and love for those that challenge us? If you're challenged, that's your problem, not their problem. Those are your attachments, your issues. Not enough love, period. But on the other hand, you don't manipulate yourself, try to not feel what you feel. You recognize what your feelings are and you try to work with them and let them go and learn how to release them again and again, etc. Or you do counseling or therapy, whatever you have to do to work with those feelings so they don't push you around. But it's the people who bring that out in us that we really need to be grateful for. At least that's what they say. I don't feel very grateful most of the time, but that's the deal. Different people are born into different karmas, yes. So how can we judge a person as being higher or holier being as we all start out at different levels? Why do we say one person is higher or holier than another? I'm not really sure what you're talking about, what you're referring to. Higher and holier doesn't mean better, necessarily. We don't think, you wouldn't say the Maharaj is better than you. He's liberated and he's become love and he can being around him, you begin to feel things that you've never felt before. So he is somebody who, is he higher? No, I mean, that's just a way of talking, higher, lower. I like to think of it in terms of older beings who've been doing this a longer time than us. And judging people is really terrible. I mean, how can we know really who anybody is? We can't know. One time I was in a deli. It was back when I still ate cheese. I was in the deli and I ordered a cheese sandwich. And I was in line with a number of people, gave my order, and there was like 3 or 4 people in line ahead of me waiting to pay and pick up their food. And I had this feeling about this. There was a guy standing in front of me. I just felt something coming off of him, like this energy, this feeling. It was like, wow. I mean, it was beautiful. It wasn't scary. It was just like, what is this? Who is this guy? So now I'm behind him in the line, and he has his back to me. He's standing in line facing the front of the store. So I just slowly kind of edged around to the side. I wanted to see his face, right? I wanted to see who he was. So I kind of edged around. And as I moved around, he turned around. He turned away. So he kept his back towards me. And I thought, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. So now I'm back again in the original position. And so I start to edge around the other side, gently, very quietly, very subtly, I just want to see who he is. I want to see his face. And as I moved in that direction, he turned away slowly. So he kept his back to me. And I thought, what? This is not happening. What is going on here? So then he paid for his food, and he paid for food, and I'm going up to pay for my food, and I'm waiting for my change. And as he's turning to walk out of the store, he turns and he looks at me. And he had this twinkle in his eyes, and he looked at me and he just said, it's not in the eyes, And then he turned and walked out of the store. And I was like, and I was waiting. So for 33 cents, I was waiting for my change. And by the time I got out the door, the street was empty. There was nobody in sight. I don't know. But that happened. So thanks for all your questions. And I did what I could. One way to deal with attachment and to deal with the way we're so locked into our own little worlds is to make offerings. And there are many types of offerings. We can make offerings of our heart, of our hearts, to all beings. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy and have enough to eat. May everyone in the world live at ease of heart, at ease, at peace, in peace. This is comes out of the metta practice, the loving kindness meditation practice, of which Sharon Salzberg is the great avatar of that practice. Sharon Salzberg. And good friend, wonderful being. And so we're going to sing Hanuman Chalisa, but before we sing that, we're going to sing the prayer that Bernie Glassman taught me, which we call Hungry Hearts, because that's in the prayer. And the prayer or the invocation is we're offering our hearts to all beings, our Bodhi mind, our enlightened heart, our enlightened mind, or our mind that is moving towards enlightenment. We offer that as a meal for all beings to come who are hungry, who want sustenance. You know, if we're going to try to get out of our little bubble, our little closed, dark little universes that we live in, that we struggle to let light in, this is one of the ways to do that, to offer ourselves. And it doesn't mean you have to go out and stand in the street and scream, "Take me, Lord, take me, everybody." It means right now at home, you make that offering, that aspiration that all beings be happy, that nobody suffers. Why should people suffer? We don't want to see people suffer, because that suffering creates more suffering. So if someone isn't suffering, they won't create suffering for others either. So we're going to sing that Hungry Hearts. We're going to sing it twice, and then Hanuman Chalisa, and then once at the end. Calling out to hungry hearts everywhere through endless time. You who wander, you who thirst, I offer you this Bodhi mind. Calling out hungry spirits everywhere through endless time. Calling out to hungry hearts, all the lost and the left behind. Gather round and share this meal, your joy and your sorrow, I make it mine. Calling out to hungry hearts everywhere through endless time. You who wander, you who thirst, I offer you this Bodhi mind. Calling out to hungry spirits everywhere through endless time. Calling out hungry hearts, all the lost and the left behind. Gather round and share this meal, your joy and your sorrow, I make it mine. Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nijamanam Kuru Sudhari Varano Rabhuvara Bhamala Jasu Chodaka Palachari Buddhihin Tanu Janke Sumiram Pavan Kumar Siaram Pallabudhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Harahu Kalesa Bikar Syavara Ramachandra Padaje Sharanam Jaya Hanuman Jnana Gunasar Jaya Kapi Sati Loka Ujag Ramadutta Tulta Baladham Anjani Putra Pavana Sutanam Mahavira Bikram Bajrang Matindevar Sumati Kesang Kanchana Varana Viraj Subesa Kanana Kundala Kunchita Kesa Atbajuror Dvaja Viraj Kande Munjajane Usan Shankara Suvan Kesari Nanda Teja Pratap Mahajagabam Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatu Ramakaj Karibe Koatu Prabhu Charitra Sunibe Porasi Ramalakan Sita Manabasi Shmarupa Darisya Hindeka Yukatarupa Daralamkajara Imarupa Dari Asura Sanhare Ramachandra Ke Kaja Samvar Ay Sanjeevan Lakana Ji Ay Shri Raghubir Hara Shiralai Ragpati Kinhi Bahut Barai Tumma Mama Priya Bharatai Samabhai Sahasrabadan Tumaro Jasaga Asakai Shri Pati Kantalaga Sanakadika Brahmadi Munisa Narada Sharada Sahita Ahisa Yamakuber Gapala Jahante Kabhi ko bidkai sake kahante Tumma upakar sugriva inkinha Rama milaya Raja Padadin Tumaro mantra bibhishanama Lankeshwara bhai sabba jagajan Yuga sasra jojan paraban Iliotai Madhura Palajan Prabhu Murveka Mele Mukamahi Chaladilange Gaya Charjanahi Durgama Kaja Jagata Kejete Sugama Anugraha Tumarete Ramadhuvare Tumarakava Tana Agya Bin Pezar Sab Sukla Hai Tumhari Sharan Tumhara Chakahu Kodar Apana Teja Samaro Ape Inon Lokahanka Tinkampe Uttapesashana Katana Heave Mahavir Javanam Sunam Nase Roga Hare Sabapir Chapata Nirantara Hanumatabir Sankatate Hanuman Churave Manakrama Bachan Dhyana Jolave Sabapara Ram Tapasviraja Tinake Kaj Sakala Tumasaja Or Manoratha Joko Elave Sove Amit Jirana Palapa Charon Yuga Paratapatuma He Parasid Jagat Ujaya Sadhu Santa Ke Marakovare Asura Nikandana Rama Bulare Ashta Siddhi No Nidhi Ke Data Savaradina Janki Mata Rama Rasayana Tumare Pasa Sadaraho Raghupati ke das, tumare bhajan Rama Gopal, janama janama ke dukha bisarai, antakala raghuvar pura jai, jahan janam hare bhakta kahai. Or devata chaitanya darai, numata se sarva sukha kare, sankata kate mite sab phir, jo sumere hanumata balavir. Jai Hanuman Gosai, kripa karo Gurudev ki nai, jo satabar patta kara koi, chuta ibandi mahasukha hoy. Oya pare Hanuman chalis, oya siddhi saki gaurisa, Tulasi das sada harichera, kije na hridaya mandir, avanatanaya sankataharana, mangalamurti rup siyaram, ramalakana sita sahita, hridaya basa surabhupa, Syavara Ramachanda Paraje Sharanam, Mangalamurti Marutananda, Sakala Amangala Mulanikanda, Mangalamurti Marutanandan, Sakala Mangala Mulanikanda, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, 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 Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Sitaram, Sitaram Jai Sitaram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Calling out to hungry hearts, everywhere through endless time, you who wander, you who thirst, I offer you this heart of mine. Calling out hungry spirits, everywhere through endless time. Calling out hungry hearts, all the lost and the left behind. Gather round and share this meal, your joy and your sorrow, I make it mine. If we know anything about a path at all, if we know there might be a way to live in this world in a good way, with an open heart, without fear, it's only because of the great beings who have gone before us. Out of their love, Out of their kindness, they left some footprints for us to follow. So, in the same way that they wish for us, in the same way that they wish for us, we wish that all beings everywhere, all of us, be safe, be happy, that all of us have good health and enough to eat. And may we all live in peace and at ease of heart, with whatever comes to us in life. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Take good care. Ram Ram.